Hey, well, good evening. Senator James Langford here. It's been quite a day, to say the least. There's a lot going on in the area of budget. We're working very hard to deal with a bill called Preventing Government Shutdowns that actually stops forever government shutdowns and actually gets us to focus on the real problem. The real problem is $33 trillion in total debt as a nation. That's the real issue, and that's what we've got to really be able to get to. So trying to be able to press us to that point. Obviously, all the conversation about Ukraine with President Zelensky in a private meeting with myself and all the other senators today to be able to do a Q&A time about what's happening in the war, how are things progressing. It was a very open meeting, talk about a lot of stuff. But the big issue really of the day that no one is talking about is actually what's happening on the border right now. On our southern border, after the Biden administration said that they had solved the issue after post-Title 42 and the media looked away because in late May the numbers went down, all of us said, myself included, the numbers are going to skyrocket. This plan is not going to work. And the administration said everything's working as planned, and the media just looked away from it. We've had days in the last couple of days where we've had 9,000 people illegally cross the border a day. There's more than 20,000 people in Border Patrol custody right now. That may not seem like a big number, but the Border Patrol custody, that's just when you're immediate arrest, they gather you and process you, and then you process out to the next level. So with 20,000 people in Border Patrol custody is an astronomically large number here. And then today, DHS and CBP actually shut down one of the rail crossings into the United States because of the flood of migrants that are coming out on the freight rail cars. So one of the rail crossings in Texas has actually been shut down today. That has a huge effect on our national economy. That's freight coming into the United States. That's our products going down into Mexico. That is millions of dollars of loss just to be able to shut down what's happening in the rail areas, and it will back it up for a very long time. We don't know what the status is. I was on the phone with Mayorkas today to be able to talk about that and what's happening on the border. We still don't have a report on what's called the special interest aliens. These are individuals that are coming from countries like Pakistan, Mauritania, China, Russia, many countries in the Middle East. We've worked for months to be able to actually get the administration to talk about that. They don't want to discuss it, but we have by the thousands single males coming through in their 20s, coming from these countries in China, Russia, Pakistan, Middle East, Mauritania, all these areas where we have no criminal background information. They're just being released in the country. So I've continued to stay on focus on that because that's a major issue. While I'm still working on budget issues, still working on Ukraine issues, still working on the other things that have got to be done. We can't take our eye off the ball of what's happening on the southern border. And so I continue to be able to focus in on that because this administration's got to enforce the law. It's just as simple as that. And they're not. So my simple statement is we as Americans are passionate about legal immigration. No issue with legal immigration. If we know who you are, you've actually been vetted. We have an orderly process to be able to come in the United States, to be able to work, return back to your home country. That's not an issue for us as Americans. It's a huge issue for us when we have people literally by the thousands a day, now 10,000 a day, coming across our border that we have no idea who they are, no background in the Biden administration, just street releasing them into the country. That's a huge issue for us, and we've got to continue to be able to make that known to this administration. So asylum's got to be redefined. Working on that as well, because that's the big area that this administration is actually manipulating all the numbers, is they're just opening it up and saying you qualify for asylum and letting people to be able to come in and giving them literally 5 to 10 years to be able to get to their court hearing to find out they really don't qualify for asylum. So we got to be able to clean up the asylum. That's a Congress issue. This administration's got to enforce the law. That's a Biden issue. But in the meantime, we've got to be able to shut down what's happening at this border, and we're going to continue to be able to press so we can actually get that done. So continue to be able to pray for the country. Let's continue to be able to keep the right attitude and to be able to focus on the work, but we got to continue to be able to press to be able to get this done. So let's pray. Let's go to work.